Today our review is going to be of another EP, Plini, called Sweet Nothings, or from Plini. Yeah, okay, this is already starting fucking very badly. Anyway, it's pretty much a very small EP. Honestly, so far EPs have been kinda good, so I honestly don't mind them too much. And in a way, I mean, they can be a good way to essentially just vibe check an artist and see if it's something I actually want to deep dive into without needing to spend, an entire album to figure that out, or if, I can just be like, okay, that was interesting, I'll pass. This EP is actually a prog rock EP, and honestly, look, let me tell you, I'll not fall in love with Plini, honestly. Despite being a prog rock, something that I really love is the atmosphere the songs create. Like, this is not a prog rock of I'm super technical and it's only the technicalities that matter type thing. I keep trashing all those types of music, but I don't mean to trash on them. It's just like, oftentimes they feel like music for musicians rather than music for people to actually engage with, right? And this is nothing like that, because these songs here, they're not heavy whatsoever. They're actually super digestible, and above all, feel like essentially like a little story that is being told with just the instruments alone, because it doesn't have any audio or anything like that. And the best part is the absolute vibe that it just gives. It just emanates this very like dreamy vibe, like you're just sort of dreaming some adventures with your like raccoon or dog or cat or whatever animal you have, right? It's very dreamy. It's honestly a delight to just hear instruments that are this clean, especially the drums. I love me some clean drums, and my god, this EP actually does have very, very clean drums, and I actually just do absolutely love them. And I just, I love the sounds that all of the instruments sort of create in a way that they, in a way, sweeten you, right? They just sort of bring you in, and something that I actually found super interesting is this is actually from 2013. Yeah, it's over 10 years old, and honestly, it still sounds very modern. When I went into it, because I got it recommended on YouTube, because I listen to music on YouTube, and sometimes I listen to like sets, and I listen to compilations and whatnot, and sometimes there are like full albums that just get recommended to me. And this was one of them, and I was like, okay, that looks interesting, I'm gonna click on it. And I did, at the beginning, I did not realize it was from 2014, or 13 rather. I mean, technically, like, from the description it said that it was from 2011 to 2012, it's when it was created, but it was like adjusted in 2013. But yeah, it still sounds very modern. If you didn't give me the year, I wouldn't have guessed this was like early 2010s, quite frankly. Like, this just sounds modern prog rock, especially after the Polyphia era, or Polyphia making a lot of, especially the more technicality or technical stuff, a lot of digestible to the public and very popular. I just thought it was something like that. Turns out that no, and it's pretty cool to have music like this, in my opinion, because it just sounds timeless. You can listen to it at any point and feel like it's music that just sounds nothing like the real world, in a way, right? It just sounds like the soundtrack of essentially like the universe that was created because of the soundtrack existing. It's like the soundtracks creates this universe in your head, and it feels like the music, this type of music, can only exist, this sound of music can only exist within the universe, right? That's why it sounds so timeless, in a way. Out of the 4 songs, because I don't know if I said that, but yeah, the EP has 4 songs only, it's very, very short. But out of the 4 songs, I think Tired and Feathered is actually my favorite. Even though, again, like, every song is really good. Even the opening, which is called Opening, which is probably the least creative title in the entire thing, but still, the song is really good. And what I really think that actually carries the dreamy vibe of the album is by far the cover art. Like, I'm sorry, but the paper aesthetic with like the moon and the rocket standing on it just makes me imagine this space journey where you go look at the, wonders of the universe, while, a sort of calmness carries you through the adventure. It's very peaceful, and the cover art really does elevate my experience with this EP. It gives such a clear context to the sounds you hear on the song, and it just completes the atmosphere. This is why I always yap about album covers being important, because in the worst case they can just kind of make you ignore the album or make you ignore the cover art, but at best they can absolutely elevate and complete an already amazing experience to something that you'll all very dear to you. When I think about a lot of my very favorite albums, sometimes I don't even think about the sound, I think about the cover art, right? Because the cover art is such a good illustration to the sound that the album actually has. Like Blackwater Park, for example, very good example for this situation, where most of the times when I think about Blackwater Park, I don't think of the songs and how they sound. I think of the cover art, and the cover art sort of brings me to that universe that the songs created, right? So I think, like it's so important to just always have a cover art that really is good and really actually feeds into the atmosphere of the sound you created, because it can absolutely elevate and complete the experience that people usually have listening to your album or EP or whatever. With all of that being said, I actually haven't talked about Sweet Nothings, which is the title track, and let me tell you, if everything I've been saying before, it's true for the EP, that's even more true for this song. The song itself very much just encapsulates this, dreamy adventure with a slowish, but somewhat sweet intro, which, name of the song, and it slowly ramps up until the end, leaving you like super satisfied. There's even a point on the end where it's a little toned down break before the big climax, sort of enforcing that, dreamy, quiet atmosphere, but then placing you right back into the dream. Everything just makes you feel like you almost just went on the actual adventure itself, and it still feels very dreamy. It was just a great way to just close the EP, and honestly, I'm all there for it. Since this EP is all vibes, my vibe meter is absolutely through the roof. So for me, this is honestly a 10 out of 10. Like, I'm not even gonna think of the score. Easy 10 out of 10. Like, it's super easy to digest. You don't need a lot of time commitment to see if you enjoy it or not. The atmosphere is absolutely amazing, and it just feels like every track, despite the technicalities that the tracks have, and despite how, because it's prog rock, so a lot of the stuff is more guided towards the technique and everything, but it's so amazing to see how almost the entire thing doesn't feel like it's even hard to actually play, right? It's not hard to listen to, you don't need to be a musician, or it's just like it's a pure vibe, and that's it. Like that's how much I've enjoyed this, and I appreciate his existence for sure. This is easily like top 10 so far. I've been, tomorrow is going to be a month that I've started reviewing a piece of music every day, but I don't have a lot, but so far this is easily like top 5, top 10, and I think that this will be top 10 for a very long time. But yeah, that's it for me, and I'll see you tomorrow with another review.